There I go. Should Britain pay reparations for slavery? It's an article. And all these Pan-Africans who don't want to talk about who did it, right? They love this girl named Esther Stanford. And unfortunately, any organisation that has a female leading it, you're in troubles. Phone bills, electric bills. You're in it, mate. I'm telling you, right? I referred to her, not her personally, but I said, oh, that bitch, blah, blah, blah. And they latched onto that. Oh, they want to beat me up. Oh, this, that, I diss the sister. If you don't apologise, I diss the sister. You diss the queen, the queen. Oh, it was all this. But what was I saying? Forget what you're saying. Don't want to know. You diss the sister, apologise. I'm like, suck it. Right? Now, she might be a nice person, cook good. I don't know. I don't really care about it. But if you're going to talk about this stuff, because she's been on TV and all that, oh, didn't she do well? Didn't she do it? Really? No. So anyway, this article was in the Guardian, if I'm not mistaken. So I thought, let me have a read. Let me be nosy. Let me check it out. I mean, it might have some data in it. And it's by Hugh Muir. I don't know him. Rennie Edo Lodge. I don't know him or her. But Esther Stanford Zoshi, I have heard of. So I'm reading the article, and I'm thinking, okay, it's a view, a short piece, a view here, a view there, and they're happy to get themselves in print, right? Some people like to, I'm on telly, they like to be on telly. Do you know what I mean? Or they like to, they don't get it, they want to be famous. Want to be famous, all right? So they've got these people, and then we get to Esther and what Esther says. This is the Queen, right? This one always gets me, because I've been listening to them, and there's been this overriding, oh, reparations ain't about money. Reparations ain't about money. I'm like, really? So I'm reading it, and it said, this is Esther Stanford Zoshi, right? This is all everybody who's a Pan-African, what do you call them? The black community, the conscious community, you know what I mean? The pro-blacks, right? Reparations cannot be reduced to money. That's their opening sentence right there. The media is refusing to hear and amplify this essential message. That's the second sentence. Instead, there is an attempt to impose on us, the descendants of the enslaved, a definition of reparations where it is synonymous with compensation, which is not accepted by the International Social Movement for African Reparations, or in brackets, ISMA. Who are they? This point was emphasized in the 1993 Abuja Reparations Declaration. And there's a link to it. So I said, you ain't going to fool me. Let me go and look at the link. It's just one web page. And this is it. It's not signed by anybody. Somebody wrote, I don't know what you might call 2 pages. It says here, the Abuja Proclamation, a declaration of the first Abuja Pan-African Conference on reparations for African enslavement, colonization and neo-colonialization, sponsored by the Organization of African Unity and its Reparations Commission, April 27th to 29th, 1993, Abuja, Nigeria. There's something here. It says, respectfully aware of historic precedents in reparations, ranging from the German payment of restitution to Jews for the enormous tragedy of the Nazi Holocaust, to the question of compensating Japanese Americans for injustices of internment by the Roosevelt administration in the United States during World War II. Now, first of all, keep your fat face out of any claims about the H word. Okay? What is a Holocaust? It's biblical. It's a burnt offering. First took place in Exodus preferably a lamb. It's a sacrament unto God. I don't ever, I know I've never heard that the Germans did that during World War II. Okay? Do not use that word. Do not play their game. Do not aid and abet. You don't know whether it happened. You've never researched it. You don't even know how many concentration camps there were. There were 6. Can I recall them all? Let me test myself. Imagine it. Chelmo, Treblinka, Auschwitz, I think Sobibor, and there is another one. Well, I lucked out on that. But either you do the research, which means you get your hands dirty, you get the books, you read, you study, you write an article or read an article, and you look at the evidence and weigh it up for yourself. And there's ample, copious amounts of evidence to the contrary of what's being claimed. Do not support them. If you do, you're not my kin. And if you're not my kin, you know what I mean, then you're fake. So she's linked to this piece, one page, that it really means nothing. It's dead end empty. But the central claim is it's not about money and compensation. Well, it is. Get in the car crash tomorrow and let your insurance company say, get well, because right now, if we gave you the money, boy, you're only going to go to the shop and spend it on, I don't know, new shoes. I don't know, you might want to buy a house. I don't know, you might want to get a private doctor. You know, get yourself together. Psychologically, you're a bit screwed up. Get yourself together first, and then come to me when we define that. No, you're going to want your money straight away. You might not want to be in a national health. You're going to want it straight away. Let's get this straight. It's about money, right? We were used as money. It was about profit. So it's always going to be about that. To say, it's not about money, it's about getting well first. This is a red herring. It's a red herring. So anyway, we go to CARICOM, the Global Reparations Movement. Sounds great. CARICOM sounds good. You hear a lot about it every now and again. And everybody relaxes. That's what you do, innit? They're representing you, mate. So you relax and you think it's going on. Nobody ever checks to find out what really is going on. There was a big fanfare over there a couple of years ago, whatever, but you don't really check it out. And you know the funny thing is, when you don't check someone out, they take liberties. It's a bit like your vote. You give it to the Democrats all the time, you get nothing, you satisfy, you keep going back. Then why should they give you anything? They get free anyway. You know what I mean? Same with Labour, why should they give you anything? You know what I mean? You voted for these people and they turn around and say, no reparations, mate. You're like, but, no. I express some regret. You ain't getting nothing from me. So, I thought it was. So let's have a read of this. If I could do it without sounding like I can't read. Ever since slavery was abolished in the Caribbean in the 1830s, and in the broader Americas in the 1860s and 1880s, the victims of slavery and their progeny have been struggling for justice to repair the damages wrought by this most horrific of crimes against humanity. This struggle has ebbed and flowed over the decades, over the 19th and 20th centuries, but has always been consistent with the demands for restitution and recompense for the crimes of chattel slavery in the Western Hemisphere. Reparations has been part and parcel of other liberation movements over the years, i.e. the anti-colonial, anti-imperialist, Pan-Africanist, civil rights and human rights movements in the Caribbean, North America, Latin America and the Caribbean, especially during the decades of the 1930s and 1990s. I've just seen an error. You've mentioned Caribbean twice in the same sentence. My alarm bell goes, shouldn't you have proofread that? This is the website. Now, it's an active website, but there's nothing new on it. I don't know when the last update was. I'm not going to go there because it's just another one of those, it looks good on paper. What do they say? All fur coat and no knickers. So I thought, let me delve into it. I got on Cobra here. National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations in America. Who are they? And that's all to do with on Cobra, isn't it? Yeah, that's to do with Cobra. So this is obviously the wrong thing. Okay. So let me place that in here. Okay, bear with me a second. It's just an investigation, so we know where we are. Because if there does need to be a CDOS movement, then it has to start with me and with you. And of course, I haven't got a website, and I don't have any money, and my channel's not monetized. You know, if things were different, then I'd get it. You know what I mean? That's if you think I'm worth it. You know what I mean? So who is the global reparations movement? I thought I'd print that off so you do some work and let you know that I get it, you can do it. You know what I mean? CARICOM Reparations Committee, right? We've got the Caribbean CARICOM Secretariat, Assistant Secretary Dr. Douglas Slater. So Dr. Douglas Slater can see the what do you call this again? I forget what you call it. Let's call it raison d'etre, right? There's another word for it. And he couldn't see that. And we've got Dr. Hilary Brown, another academic, and he couldn't see that. We've got hailing from Antigua, Mr. Dorbreen Omard from Antigua. Part of the committee now. Mr. Alfred M. Sears from the Bahamas. Mr. Philip P. Smith from the Bahamas. That's two. Professor Sir Hilary Beckles. He has something to do with the WICB, the West Indies Cricket Board, but he's no longer there. Professor Hilary Beckles from Barbados. Professor Pedro I.V. Welch from Barbados. Do you see these academics? And they saw that, and they couldn't think of, get somebody as secretary. Can you just check that? We've got Dr. Damien Dublin from Dominica. Mr. Eric M.D. Phillips from Guyana. Professor Vern Shepherd from, you guessed it, late Jamaica. Miss Laleta Davis Mattis from Jamaica. Double representation. Some of them have got double representations. Ras Dabo Penny. Ras Dabo Penny is from, say, Kitts and the Grenadines. And we have got this is from St. Vincent, isn't it? Senator Jomo Thomas from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mr. Curtis M. King from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mr. Armand Zunder. I'm not sure what this island is. It's going to tell me in a minute, isn't it? Suriname. Fellas from Suriname. And of course, we ought to have one from Mr. Ayegoto Omi from Trinidad and Tobago. And last but not least, we've got Mr. Earl Bousquet, however you say that, obviously the French from St. Lucia. I'm sorry, my printed colours are not great, so it's not spectacular. The point is, not all islands are represented here. Some people have double representation, as in Barbados and Jamaica, and there were a couple of others as well. I'm not hating on them. I'm just stating the fact. So that's who they are, and they've got a 10-point plan. A 10-point plan. Okay, that's interesting. Here's your 10-point plan from the Global Reparations Movement. part of the CARICOM situation. And I think I would, I'd like to do my own, really. I really would like to do my own. I just don't think some things are for, all right. I'm just going to go for the headings here. So, number one, they want a full, formal apology. I personally don't really care. The healing process for victims and the descendants of the enslaved and enslavers requires a precondition, the offer of a sincere formal apology by the governments of Europe. Why Europe? Why Europe? Let me read that again. The healing process for victims and the descendants of enslaved and enslavers requires, as a precondition, the offer of a sincere formal apology by the governments of Europe, full stop. Let me think about that. Switzerland's in Europe. What part do they play in the transatlantic slave trade? Turkey's part of Europe. What part did Poland's part of Europe? What part did they play in Europe? Why not the United Kingdom? Most of the islands, I told you, they're properties of the United Kingdom, no? And what are you talking about? It goes on. And then it says, number two, reparation. Sorry, no, not reparation. It is repatriation. Over 10 million Africans were stolen from their homes and forcibly transported to the Caribbean as enslaved chattel and property of Europeans. Holland's part of Europe. Sweden's part of Europe. Finland, Iceland. So part. But what part did they play in just throwing it out there. The transatlantic slave trade is the largest forced migration of human history, in human history, and has no parallel in terms of man's inhumanity to man. So, what's that got to do with reparation? In search of profit, right? A repatriation program must be established and all available channels of international law and diplomacy used to resettle those persons who wish to return. A resettlement program should address such matters as citizenship and deploy available best blah, 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 blah. Good luck with that. Seems to me some people do not understand that you were taken from a place and you're now petri dish people. You're brand new. You're different. You don't speak the language. Which part is going to go there? Look. This repatriation has happened before. You have to go back into, the late 1700s and Martin Delaney. It's happened before. Liberia, Sierra Leone. It doesn't work. It doesn't turn out well. Okay? The last one, 15,000, didn't turn out well. I'll go into that. Oh, they talk about Marcus. Stick him up your, you know what I mean? He didn't go to Africa, didn't get one man there. But some people did. Okay? Some people actually did. I said Delaney. There's also Paul Cuffey. Paul Cuffey is who I meant in the 17th century. So you look at Paul Cuffey. I should have got a picture of him so I can present to you. Number 3, Indigenous Peoples Development Program. Number 4, cultural institutions. Number 5, public health crisis. Number 6, illiteracy eradication. 7, African Knowledge Program. 8, psychological rehabilitation. 9, technology transfer. And 10, debt cancellation. I'll put the debt cancellation aside. All of these come under give that check. Cut that check. Okay? Cut that check. We sort out the rest. We don't need you to do anything, but that check should be enough to cover all of this. I don't know why your 10-point program doesn't even mention cutting that check. Because with that check, you can say what you will do with it. which might encompass all of that. It may well. But that's what needs to be done. You doctors, do you know what I mean? You should have a feasibility plan. You should have something. This is all fur coat, no knickers, my friend. It really is. Debt cancellation, that goes without saying. Because you have to tell the truth about what system we are living under. So for those who don't like the Bible, the Bible is white man, this white man, that Bible is the most powerful book on the planet. You don't understand it. You really don't get it. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's like you were in school and most of you guys went to church when you were kids and were misbehaving and got clapped round the head by the preacher, the pastor, whoever it was, and you're scarred. And your growing up reading of the Bible is of that of a 10-year-old. You just don't have it. And most of the guys in my country, in the UK, these guys can't even read. I mean, my reading was bad today. I don't know why. But they can't even read a text without stumbling and fumbling over their words and acting like, oh gosh, their words, what's this? It's that bad. But they're the vanguard of, that's why I call them Pan-Africans. So, in a rambling way, let me just try to recap on anything I've said. If you're not going to tell the truth about reparations, shut up. Okay? This is about whodunit. Now, what do you mean whodunit? Well, there's always been slavery. I think I've gone through that already. The Bible speaks of slaves treating the slaves well. And Spartacus was a slave. In Europe, they had slaves, Slavs. It's argued comes from the word, slaves come from the word Slavs because they were enslaved. And guess who would have done that? And then you got those idiots who, in my country, oh, the Arabs, and the Arabs, the Arabs, the Arabs. I'm like, Arab, just say Arab. The Arabs, they, Muslims enslaved. I'm like, have you done any research? Have you never heard of the Radhanites? I thought I'd emphasize the Radhanites. The Radhanites were Jews who pretended, as per usual, to be Muslims, and they were the guys who were doing the enslaving, right? But every time I mention it to these guys, they're scared of these Jews. They just won't speak up. If you're not going to speak about a crime, don't speak about a crime. It's as simple as that. And that's my main thing. I mean, at the end of the day, something happened and slavery became colour-coded. Let's be honest. In the olden days, in any part of Africa, there was no Sing Sing, there was no Pelican Bay, there was no HMP Pentonville, Belmarsh or Wandsworth. There's none of that. You know what I mean? If you cause an infraction, it's slavery for a given time. If it's over a killing, it could be for life. If it's war, it's dead or enslaved. That's what it was. Even the Romans, they didn't do it because of your colour. They beat you and you got a choice. Do you know what I mean? And, of course, you can receive manumission, if you will. It depends, right? So, when they say, oh, the Bible talks about slavery, it condones slavery, it doesn't condone chattel slavery. That's a whole new, different ballgame. This is colour-coded. And guess who invented that colour-coded enslavement? These people who run around decrying other people for being anti-Semitic, yet it was these people in the turn of the century that took your term, Hamito-Semitic, cut off the Hamito descriptor and applied it to themselves. And they then told you not to use it. Your languages are now Afro-Asiatic. The Hamito-Semitic languages, they said, no, we having that. You're Afro-Asiatic. Professor Joseph Greenberg. Sounds like a good old Scottish name, doesn't it? People have been doing a crime against you for the longest time. For the longest time. Right? Your professors have come under their wrath for the longest time. You want to forget it. You just want to forget it. And where are you? Don't complain. Don't say a word. Don't complain. In fact, stay with your boogeyman. He's the white man. He's the white man. Super white man. He's so great. He's so great. White supremacy. Follow that idiot. Tariq Nasheed and the Umar Johnsons and, bow down to your Neely Fullers and do it. You got something to hear from me. And the truth hurts. It's not your friend, it's not my friend. It just is. Now, either you get with it or get out. Step aside, my friend. Your time has come. Do you understand? Now, I don't know how good this video is going to be. Don't really much care. I'm just reading what I'm reading, and there's nothing here that you could say that, well, maybe there is. Comments welcome. If you want me, believe that I can serve a purpose in hosting a regular show on news and events and of the day and so forth, book recommendations and so forth, and some of my own writings, and you know, encourage me. You never know. I might just say it's worth it. Put up a live channel, get it monetized, and hopefully it doesn't get shut down because of I'm not going to play. I'm not PC. PC's not me, and you know, admittedly, I can produce my own material better, and it will be done better. Bumper music and all the rest of it. So, for what little I can do, I will do. Do you know what I mean? But it's totally up to you, right? Because I'm one of your boys, I'm one of your commissioned officers in the field, okay? A commissioned officer in the field. You can judge whether I'm worthy or not, right? But there's some material I got for you, for real. But I'm not quite sure it's worth it because the fight I've had to get through and I face at this moment in time, sometimes I wonder why. It's why. But if it wasn't for the Creator, and I shall give you a video about why I am a young earth creationist and not a Christian soon, but that's neither here nor there, and I don't really want to ramble. I think I've said what I wanted to do in a roundabout way. I wasn't even going to go into that today. I just thought it was worth stating that I'm not quite sure that we really do have, that we descendants of the Caribbean have a true and viable reparations movement. You know, there's a lot of fanfare and a lot of noise being going on. But when I look at the websites, they look like they're dated. There's nothing up-to-date going on. No one's published anything. There's no references to anything that's going on that we, the descendants of chattel slavery, encounter today. I don't have a voice. I don't hear anybody like me speaking. I'm not allowed on the legal radio stations. They see my number, they know it's him again, and I just can't get through. And if I want people to hear what I've got to say, because it's the truth, then I have to do it here. But if what I'm saying is not wanted, and everybody's happy going in that HMS over the river, you know, go where they want, and they just want to moan about it. They're just moaning about the journey. Happy moaning about the journey. But things can change, but you have to make that change. And I'm not here to be the slick willy pimping like the Tariqs and so forth. He's worth a few million. They boast about it, etc., etc. And I don't care if you don't like me. You know what I mean? You don't have to. It's not about whether you like your teacher or not. And that's what something, your teacher doesn't have to dress fashionable for you. He doesn't have to get your catchy slang. What he does is put the information up there for you to remember it, to understand it, and to interpret it and gather some meaning from it. And so, in my research, I came across Leonard Jeffries, and I'm like, he's on Donahue, and even he feels the need to have to clarify, and I think maybe at the time he didn't know enough about these people and the things that they do. But once you know enough about the things that they do, the best of them coming at you, if you're allowed free speech, they can't win. They are of the lie, John 8:44s, and I represent the truth. And speaking the truth frees me and frees a lot of people around the world. The ripple effects go wide. And we need to have that ripple effect go wide. The Messiah talked of a comforter in times to come. He told you about the comforter. Do you know what it's like when you hear something that confirms your thoughts? You tell me how you feel. When you actually get some truth, how do you really feel when somebody said something that you fear to say it? Or you didn't know, but it opens you up and makes you think. How do you really feel? How did the Messiah, Yeshua, know that? He called him the Comforter. The Comforter is the truth. It will make you free. With that said, I think that's me over for today. So I'll speak to you soon.